very much.
You enjoy that.
Cheers.
Yeah.
What's up, Bodyweight Warriors, and welcome back to another video. We got the coffee, of course. I actually ran out of coffee today, so we went to a local coffee shop, and I think, of course, at this time, at the moment, it's very important to support local business as well. It's a small cost for you, but it definitely helps them out. Firstly, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who commented on the last vlog that I did. I did about injury sort of stuff, and to be honest, I did a post on Instagram as well, and both of them have just got really great feedback. And I asked in both of them, the Instagram and the YouTube video, people wanted to just share their story, talk about their own injuries and how they got it through it, how long it took, just so people could kind of browse through and get a realistic representation. And I've just been reading through, replying to many of the comments today. There's a lot of you who are injured, you know? In contrast to that vlog in which it was like 16 degrees and sunny, today is about 5 degrees and raining, which is much more like November. But still trying to get outside, get out in nature a little bit first thing in the morning, regardless of the weather, and yeah, it's a nice way to kick off the day. So anyway, because of this injury, which I went into quite a lot of detail in the last vlog, so if you are interested, you know, feel free to go and watch that one. I'm going to be taking a slight detour with my current training. Usually muscle gain isn't particularly a focus, it's usually a little bit of a side effect of just training and going for some of the strength moves, but because I can't really do that high end level strength moves, but I can still do quite a lot of basic stuff, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to spend like 6 to 8 weeks of just a kind of mass gain muscle hypertrophy block, because I've never really done that. So that's what I'm going to share with you in today's video. I'm going to share with you my upper body workout for today. Also, I mentioned that I took about 10 days off training completely, and to fill my time, I decided to pull my bathroom out, which is why this is my current living room, bedroom, and my bathroom at the moment. So that's been a fun one that's gone on a little bit too long, but I'll chuck up some photos of kind of the before and after, and hopefully by the time this vlog goes out, it might be finished. So there's a finished photo for you if there is. Right, I'll do some work. I'm gonna catch up with you when we hit the session later on. So it is, it's time to train. It's about 2 o'clock. I've just been working up until now. It is still trainable outside at the moment. It's kind of wet, it's a bit cold, but once you kind of warm up, things are fine. We're gonna do handstands first of all to warm up, and then jump into some strength work. We've got the rings. I've got about 30 kilos of weight, which is gonna have to do, but let's jump into it. Also, the hoodie just dropped, I think, like a few days ago. So if you want to grab one of these, they'll be available in limited quantities, link below. So because of this injury, one thing that I'm warming up with is just some isometrics. And handstands kind of count as this because it's like an isometric position in shoulder flexion elevation, but I'm also just doing some basic isometrics. It's kind of a good way, just if you have an injury in general, doing some isometrics around the position is almost like some priming activation of that area, because injuries can cause inhibition and other things to happen because your body is trying to avoid working certain areas to protect the body. But I'm not going to spend too long on handstands today because the main focus is that mass gain workout. Okay, so kind of wrapping up the handstand session. I'm not going to do too much. Again, worry about progressively loading volume for the shoulder. So into the mass gain workout, let's cover a couple of rules when it comes to training for muscle growth. So before anyone says, why are you talking about muscle growth? You're not even big, bro. Fair enough, yes, I guess. Not really been a focus, to be honest with you. But you know, as I said, it's not particularly complex. There's 3 things that we're looking for. We're looking for mechanical tension, muscle damage, and metabolic stress. With these three things, muscle growth is going to happen. We then need to make sure we're taking care of the rest, like nutrition and diet, but that's a whole another video. So when it comes to the first two, let's cover those. They're nice and simple. Mechanical tension, muscle damage, that's essentially going to be done by doing training. Specifically, we want to look at doing controlled negatives, slower eccentrics. That's going to cause greater muscle damage. It helps us overload the patterns a little bit more, and just making sure generally the quality of work, the mind-muscle connection is going to be there, is a good thing. I know traditionally with hypertrophy, people like to recommend higher rep ranges, think maybe like 8 to 15, but actually for natural lifters, I would say 6 to 10 is a good rep range for just true hypertrophy. But certainly if you're doing strength training, sort of think 1 to 5 rep range, that can also elicit hypertrophy, but you just need to do more volume. So we could do like 8x3, for example, would be a way of getting more volume in while still working on strength training to get a bit of a balanced response, but really ultimately you want to be in a higher rep range bracket. So just warming up, and let's cover the last one. So metabolic stress. Now a lot of people will see this one as going to failure, which isn't necessarily true. And also as well, volume is going to play a role in this one, because the more exercises we add, the closer we get to muscular failure, and kind of that using of energy resources is part of that metabolic stress. But for natural lifters, which is kind of where this issue arises, a lot of people giving this advice are on steroids, and training on steroids is very different to training as a natural lifter. Most people either do too much work or go to failure too often when they're training for muscle mass, and that too much stress in either of those ones is going to make it hard for recover, and then to recover is what leads to us creating muscle mass. So general recommendation, failure wise, I would recommend kind of sticking to about 2 reps in reverse, or I don't know what that would be on an RPE, maybe like a 7 for your average set. So it's hard, but you maybe have a couple of reps left in the tank, but then maybe pushing more towards failure on your final set of an exercise. That's where in a session we have a few sets of failure, but not so much that we're going to wreck ourselves. So volume wise, kind of 10 to 20 sets per week is a good amount for a muscle group, and I'm just going to stick with like patterns as muscle groups. I think like vertical press, horizontal press. So if we're going to do 2 sessions a week, maybe around 10 sets is going to be a good number. More doesn't mean better, and ultimately this comes down to the individual. So that is it. Here is the workout. Let's get going. Pull-ups for me is one of the movements that hurts the most, or doesn't actually hurt, but it aggravates it the most. So for me, this one's a much lighter session than normal. So this one you can do as like handstand push-up or any progression of Pike push-up. Notice how I'm not touching my nose to the floor at the bottom. It's like an active pause in that bottom position. As you know, if you're not topless on social media and talking about fitness, you don't know what you're talking about. Remember, 2 reps in the verse, too short of failure for those sets. We go to failure on the last one. A little bit closer to failure on that last one. So next setup we're going to do some push-up variants and row variants, but we're going to use a specific technique on this one, which is a rest pause technique. We're only going to perform this on the last set, so similar in the way that we're taking the last set to failure, this set we're going to take beyond failure by adding a short 10 to 20 second rest before doing as many reps as possible after our actual set. Again, only on the last set. So probably technically I would program wide, like Bulgarian rows here, but for me personally, like this rear delt range of motion is probably the most painful, so I'm avoiding that at the moment. Standard neutral grip rows do perfectly fine. Also, don't leave your rings or wooden rings in the rain. They're ruined at this point. And pairing these with some deep push-ups, so using that extra range of motion, more stretch, more range of motion equals greater hypertrophy response. These are potentially a tad easy, might elevate my feet, but again, you've got to think this is going to be over 4 sets. So top's coming off for the final set. Remember, do the normal set of 8 to 10, then 10 to 20 seconds rest, and then perform another 1 to 3 repetitions, or kind of as many as possible with full range of motion, good form. 1 to 3 is a good number to aim for. If you can do a lot more, it means your initial set isn't hard enough. Right, 10 to 20 seconds rest. And the same thing on push-ups, so 8 to 10, then 1 to 3. A little bit of rest. Finally, we finish off with a little bit of arms, because they're a smaller muscle group, they can handle a little bit more volume, a little bit more frequency, and you know, who doesn't love getting some bigger arms? Zottman curls is the first drill. I like Zottman curls because they have this pronation element, so they get to train some of that brachialis, pronator teres, so you get to overload it a little bit. It's like a mechanical advantage set. Good for improving pull-ups, but also golf elbow, that sort of thing as well. Just a nice elbow bulletproofing joint option. And of course triceps as well. May as well keep this one simple. If you don't have weight, you can do the last 2 with resistance bands, or like a funky overhead tricep extension bodyweight alternative. Both work pretty good. We are going to be mixing this final grouping up for that mass gain focus. So on the first set we had failure, second set we had like an extended set. On this one we're going to do a back off set. So we're going to do 2 sets as normal. The last set though, we're going to do a 20 rep set, and we're going to drop down the weight or the intensity of the movement slightly to make sure we can do the 20 reps with the same tempo and quality. Should be a good way to finish up and get a pump and some post-workout. So when it comes to the 20 rep sets, getting the weight right is kind of important. So I hope this is about right. We're going to kind of just see, basically. Might end up being 15. Remember, tempo needs to stay the same for the entire 20 reps. Yeah, that was hard enough. Oh, the burn. So that was basically the mass gain-ish workout. Probably could have done a little bit more chest, but this is just one of the 2 days that I'm doing per week on upper body. So the second session is a little bit more chest and weak points focused, I guess you could say. But I hope you guys enjoyed this workout. So post-workout, couple of scoops of whey protein, oat milk, and the secret anabolic ingredient, honey. It's nice as a simple sugar carb addition, probably about 80-100 grams carbs in this shake with just a nice big dollop of honey. Right, so that was a pretty bro end to the session, but either way, I hope you guys enjoyed it. The full workout is in the description down below if you want to give it a go. Let me know if you are going to. Share your feedback if you want to. It's quite a simple workout, but these things don't need to be complicated. It's oftentimes about that consistency, progressive overload, and also the things you do around your training, making sure your sleep is good, making sure you're getting adequate nutrition, etc. I'm going to keep working at this sort of style of training for the next, as I said, 6 to 8 weeks, and I'll keep you guys updated on how the shoulder's feeling, what else I'm doing to help with recovery, making sure things are in the right place, etc. But until the next episode, if you enjoyed this video, you can always hit that thumbs up button and support the channel. Right next to it as well is that subscribe button if you want to join the Bodyweight Warrior tribe. But that has basically been it for this week, guys. I'll catch you in the next episode. Have a strong week and peace.